You are not going to believe what's quietly unfolding behind closed doors. Alberta, long known for its oil-rich lands and Western pride, may be on the verge of the most radical political shift in Canadian history. And at the center of it all, U.S. President Donald Trump, and a supposed backchannel deal that could change the map of North America forever. Is this just political theater, or is Canada actually at risk of losing a province? Stick with us, because what we're about to unpack might shock you. In June 2025, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith introduced a highly controversial move. She lowered the threshold required for launching an independence referendum. Under the revised Alberta Sovereignty within a United Canada Act, if just 10% of eligible voters, roughly 177,000 people, sign a petition, a vote on Alberta's future could be triggered as early as 2026. This isn't just theoretical anymore. Already, pro-independence groups are organizing across the province, gathering signatures at farmers' markets, gas stations, and even through mobile apps designed to push the referendum forward. While Smith has publicly framed this as a tactic to force Ottawa into fairer negotiations on energy and equalization payments, many political insiders are reading between the lines. Quiet voices in the Alberta legislature suggest that there are factions, small but vocal, pushing for full-on separation. And even more startling, some of them are eyeing the United States. Now, enter Donald Trump. During several G7 and trade-related appearances this year, Trump has again floated the provocative idea of adding Canada, or at least part of it, to the U.S. fold. He jokingly referred to Alberta as a natural fit for America, citing its energy sector, conservative leanings, and dissatisfaction with Ottawa. And while many brushed this off as Trumpian showmanship, behind the scenes, the story becomes murkier. Multiple American and Canadian sources have reported that informal feelers have been sent back and forth. Trump is said to have told Republican strategists in Texas and Arizona that Alberta could become America's oil vault. A statement that, even unconfirmed, raised eyebrows in Washington and Ottawa alike. While there's no direct evidence of a signed deal, one former Canadian diplomat hinted at the possibility of unofficial talks. He claimed Alberta officials and Trump's political advisors met briefly in late May at a private event in Montana. The meeting, though unrecorded and unconfirmed, has been widely discussed in intelligence and media circles, fueling speculation that something bigger may be underway. Premier Danielle Smith has denied any intention of joining the U.S., calling the rumors distractions from Alberta's real concerns. Still, she hasn't outright condemned the idea either, leading some to wonder if the door is being left slightly ajar. As for public opinion, it's complex. Recent polls show about 65% of Albertans still want to remain part of Canada. But there's a twist. When asked whether they'd prefer to stay in Canada under current federal policies, that number drops to just over 50%. And for younger Albertans aged 18 to 34, support for independence or U.S. annexation is actually rising. In fact, one poll published in late June by the Western Outlook Institute claimed that 28% of Albertans would strongly consider joining the U.S. if Ottawa fails to respect Alberta's autonomy. Critics say this is nothing more than emotional politics, leveraging Western frustration to score local points. But proponents argue that this is Alberta's moment to break free. Now, let's talk about the economic angle. Trump has long touted the benefits of an Alberta-U.S. alignment. Lower taxes. Fewer environmental restrictions. Direct access to U.S. markets without needing federal Ottawa red tape. An anonymous oil executive from Calgary allegedly told a journalist last month, if Alberta joined the U.S., investment would pour in overnight. Though the quote remains unverified, it's become a rallying cry among some Western business leaders. Of course, the legal and logistical hurdles to independence, let alone U.S. statehood, are monumental. Constitutional scholars warn that Alberta cannot simply leave Canada without massive court battles. Indigenous land rights, trade treaties, and interprovincial agreements would all be thrown into disarray. But here's the part that keeps coming up behind the scenes: Ottawa's silence. Prime Minister Mark Carney has condemned Trump's annexation comments as absurd and dangerous. Yet, he's offered very little in terms of concrete outreach to Alberta. That vacuum of leadership, critics say, is exactly what's allowing this movement to fester and grow. Now let's get back to that secret deal rumor. While there's no signed document, several political watchers have pointed out Trump's recent tweets and Truth Social posts. One in particular, posted just 2 weeks ago, read: Alberta has great people. We've talked. We'll see what happens. The USA loves freedom. The phrasing, "we've talked," was quickly seized on by reporters. When pressed for clarification, a Trump campaign spokesperson refused to comment. The Alberta government also declined to respond, saying only that Alberta will continue to pursue what's best for its people. It's not confirmation. But it's not denial either. Meanwhile, some unusual moves are happening on the ground. The Republican Party of Alberta, previously known as the Buffalo Party, has begun raising funds for a symbolic referendum asking voters whether Alberta should explore a formal partnership with the United States. Though legally non-binding, the plan is to hold the vote on the same day as the provincial referendum next year. So, could this all be a coordinated effort? Opposition leaders in Edmonton believe so. One NDP MLA even accused the Smith government of playing footsie with foreign powers during a heated legislative session. No evidence was offered, but the allegation alone made headlines across the country. And here's another strange wrinkle: a recent domain registration leak revealed multiple Alberta-based PACs have bought website names like 51statealberta.com and freedomunion2026.org. When reporters attempted to trace ownership, they hit a wall of shell companies and anonymous registrants. Coincidence? Maybe. But all these dots are starting to form a pattern. So what does it all mean? Right now, there is no verified deal. No annexation order. No legal path for Alberta to become the 51st state. But what does exist is a growing rift between Alberta and the rest of Canada. One that is being fueled by real grievances, political opportunism, and, perhaps, Donald Trump's never-ending talent for stirring the pot. The deal may be fiction. But the discontent? The rising calls for separation? That's very, very real. And with a referendum now within reach, Alberta's next election may not just decide the province's leadership, it could decide its entire future. So the question remains: is Canada about to lose a province? Or is this all just smoke, mirrors, and strategy? Stay tuned. Because what happens in Alberta might not stay in Alberta.